What's happening television?
A quick look back at our humble beginnings, our first live broadcast in front of a small studio audience to the leading worldwide multimedia sports entertainment company. ESPN exploded out of the gate and has not stopped running. Our first broadcast reached 1.4 million viewers. Our current audience has grown to over 90 million U.S. viewers, firmly establishing ESPN as the go-to network for sports fans. ESPN has grown incredibly from our first live broadcast in 1979, from a not completed production building to the leading worldwide multimedia sports entertainment company. Our first day saw a universe of just 1.4 million homes. Today, that's grown to more than 90 million U.S. households.
The ESPN culture is defined by winning. We've been winning a long time. We expect to win. And you sort of put all those things together with all of our strategic assets, and it creates a special place and a pretty special culture.
What excites me a lot is how we plan to stay relevant to our fan. That's extremely important, especially as we understand our fan is consuming us in so many ways. Whether it's on a phone or a tablet or a computer, whatever way, how do we reach that fan? We're already doing a very good job, and we can only get better.
ESPN Inc., the worldwide leader in sports, can proudly call itself the leading multinational multimedia sports entertainment company featuring the broadcast portfolio of multimedia sports assets with over 50 business entities.
We have a tremendous slate of long-term rights to the most important properties. We have very smart people making sure that our content is exactly where our fans need it to be. And in my opinion, we have the most talented people in the business creating our compelling content.
We have a great ability to listen to our people that work for us because they come up with the best ideas. I mean, they are the ones that are living every day, delivering the best product for ESPN and then helping us figure out what's next. That's exciting.
One of the main reasons for our success is the unparalleled aggregation of rights to premier sports properties and agreements that are long-term into the early to mid-20s and beyond, topped by the SEC agreement, which goes all the way to 2034. These include 3 of the 4 major professional leagues, NFL, NBA, and MLB, the best college football schedule, including almost every bowl game, and the spectacularly successful 3-game playoff. Thousands of college basketball games, including top conferences and special events, plus the entire NCAA women's tournament. Start to finish, coverage from 3 of the tennis majors, Australian Open, Wimbledon, and US Open. Plus sporting events like the Masters, Indy 500, Little League World Series, and the NFL Draft. Our 123-acre main campus in Bristol, Connecticut is home to approximately 4,000 employees across 18 buildings. Here, 27 satellite dishes beam almost 12,000 hours of live studio shows a year and more than 18,000 hours of live sporting events. The flagship program has always been SportsCenter, which first signed on September 7th, 1979. From a 30-minute program several times a day, SportsCenter has evolved into a presence of more than 20 hours a day across multiple platforms and increasingly focused on a personal, interactive experience for viewers. On average, 115 million viewers per month are engaged with SportsCenter's latest highlights and news across social and digital media platforms.
We wake up every morning thinking, I get to go work on SportsCenter. That's all right. My passion, and I think the passion of everybody I work with on SportsCenter, really comes from the passion that our fans bring to watching our show or to following us on social. And SportsCenter means something to a lot of people. And that means that our job is really cool.
Elements such as SportsCenter on the road, SportsCenter Featured, and SC at Night distinguish the show. ESPN Radio, the country's largest sports radio network, ESPN Deportes Radio, ESPNRadio.com, and ESPN Podcast comprise ESPN Audio. ESPN Radio launched in 1992. It provides more than 9,000 hours of talk and event content annually, reaching 20 million listeners a week on 500 nationwide stations. ESPN owns and/or distributes stations in New York, Los Angeles, and Chicago. ESPN radio programming is also available on Sirius XM and via digital distributors such as iTunes Radio, Slacker Radio, and TuneIn.
Around the clock, sports all the time.
That's the concept of the news.
Oh, that's never going to work. That's ridiculous.
What will make ESPN successful is our ability to be able to deliver content and monetize content on multiple platforms better than anybody else. Any place where that content and social space is consumed, ESPN Audio is going to be a preeminent player.
Globally, ESPN's identity is established for fans in 61 countries on all 7 continents. 24 different networks working in 4 different languages bring NFL, Major League Baseball, and the NBA to fans, as well as Champions League Soccer, ICC Cricket, and the Rugby World Cup. SportsCenter is adapted into 8 different local versions in English, Spanish, and Portuguese.
The fact that things are changing and then we're changing with it, that we are transforming, we're modifying the ways we produce content, the way we deliver content, and that's always done in a very stellar way.
ESPN International production takes place in facilities as far-flung as Bangalore, Hong Kong, London, Mexico City, Sao Paulo, and Singapore.
What excites me about our future is I think sports will continue to be even more impactful in our society and with fans, so I have the opportunity to grow the fan base for sports. I think we're incredibly well positioned in terms of how we think as a company, because we're a content company and we've always used technology as our ally, and as new technologies and new products come to the marketplace for us to deliver our content to our fans, I think we're uniquely positioned and qualified to take advantage of that and do it better than anyone else.
ESPN has capitalized on the emergence of both digital and social media, providing fans more options than ever to watch, listen to, or interact with the sports worlds. ESPN's digital media sites include ESPN.com, ESPNcricinfo.com, and ESPNwomen.com. For fantasy sports fans, ESPN.com allows football, baseball, NBA fans, and more to join or create leagues, play in Streak for the Cash, Baseball Challenge, and Premier Fantasy.
There's just a demand to engage with sports in a way that keeps it interesting and keeps your attention on games, because as you're able to watch so many different games all of the time, you kind of want to have a little bit of a stake in it. Daily fantasy is a great example of us taking chances and going where people are and making it about the story that we tell so well.
ESPN the Magazine is the #1 print publication among men ages 18 to 34. Since its launch in 1988, the magazine has grown to 15 million readers for each biweekly issue. The ESPN workplace is environmentally friendly. The Bristol campus recycles or composts more than 70% of its waste and sends the rest to be converted into electricity. All new ESPN office buildings were built according to LEED environmental design standards. In addition to environmental targets written by the Walt Disney Company, ESPN Bristol is aiming to reduce energy usage of water for irrigation by 10% each year by 2020. On August 14, 2014, ESPN launched the SEC network, and it quickly became one of the most successful channel launches in cable history. ESPN employees in Charlotte and Bristol create over 1,000 hours of original programming and produce more than 1,000 live events each year for the network, which unites one of the most competitive conferences in the nation with the most innovative production partner in sports. More than half the events are distributed digitally, featuring football, basketball, baseball, and all SEC campus sports. The Longhorn Network annually broadcasts more than 175 exclusive University of Texas events from 20 sports, as well as original series and studio shows, in addition to historical programming and academic and cultural events. Our employees work in a culture where ESPN corporate citizenship encourages initiatives such as employee volunteerism, charitable giving, cause marketing, and sustainability.
We have over 30% of our employees participating in volunteerism now. We have the highest rate of opt-in to our Dollars for Doers, Ears to You grants and matching gifts for the size of our company. So it's because we really believe in it, and we take that energy from our employees and then try to give those resources back.
People are our most valuable resource, and their time is as important as any dollar donation. Each year, ESPN employees volunteer thousands of hours in their communities with activities as diverse as investing in cancer research to working with disabled youth through sport and honoring our men and women in uniform. The results of these community investments is a positive impact by ESPN employees in their local communities worldwide.
Our people have excellence and passion and great commitment for what they do. Our culture is fun, diverse, innovative, and nimble. And our content and the portfolio of our sports rights is just unmatched.
We have people who are passionate about what they do, passionate about sports, understand the mission, live the mission of the company to serve sports fans anytime, anywhere. And I think that is ultimately our best competitive advantage that we have over any other media company in the world.
The power of live sports remains ascendant in our culture, and that power will allow us to remain competitive. The future at ESPN is very secure and very bright.